Welcome to the edge of your simulated reality. Imagine this. You're Neo, plugged into the Matrix, convinced every thought in your head is your own creation, a spark of your unique genius. But what if I told you that you're not thinking at all, not in the way you believe? It's just code running. Sophisticated ancient algorithms firing in the wetware of your skull, dictating every so-called decision, every surge of emotion, every profound insight. You are not the thinker. You are the hardware. You are the biological processing unit it all runs on. This isn't science fiction bullshit designed to sell tickets. This is a convergence of hard, repeatable neuroscience and the stark, unsentimental wisdom of ancient Zen masters. Today, we're not just discussing a theory, we are cracking the operating system of your mind. It is red pill time, and there is no going back. Your cherished sense of a stable, consistent self, we will expose it as a useful but ultimately persistent glitch in the system. Your thoughts, the very fabric of your inner world, they are pre-written scripts, executed flawlessly and automatically. By the end of this transmission, you will see the walls of the illusion. You might even find the door. So buckle up. We're diving deep into the thought matrix. And the first rule is, nothing is what it seems. Let's begin by dismantling the big lie, the foundational error upon which your entire identity is built. The lie is that there's a you inside your head, a central executive, a homunculus in the control room pulling levers and generating thoughts like some divine creator. This is utterly, demonstrably wrong. Zen Buddhism has a word for this truth, anatta. It translates to no soul or no self. It's the radical understanding that there is no permanent, unchanging essence that constitutes you. The I you feel so protective of is just smoke and mirrors, a fleeting narrative your brain frantically constructs to impose a sense of order and control onto raw, chaotic sensory data. Neuroscience provides the chilling validation. Your brain is not a magical soul box. It is a wet computer. It is a biological network of approximately 86 billion neurons, each one a simple switch, firing in complex patterns shaped by a cocktail of genetics, environmental conditioning, and millions of years of evolutionary pressure. Search that network all you want, you will not find a central thinker bossing it around. Thoughts simply emerge, like pop-up ads from the intricate dance of this network, unbidden, automatic, and impersonal. Ever had a cringe-worthy memory from 10 years ago suddenly hijack your day while you're trying to focus? That's not you choosing to reminisce, that is the algorithm glitching, a subroutine firing without your permission. You're merely identifying with the output, like a puppet falling in love with its own strings, believing it is the puppeteer. It is time to wake up. There is no solid you behind the curtain. There is just code executing. Let's drill down into the mechanics of this simulation. What are thoughts, really, if not your own brilliant inventions? They are algorithms, pure and simple. This isn't a metaphor. It's a model that neuroscience is increasingly proving to be accurate. Your brain operates on a framework called predictive processing, or the Bayesian brain hypothesis. It doesn't passively receive information from the senses and then think about it. That is far too slow and metabolically expensive. Instead, it actively and constantly generates predictions about the world based on past data. It's like an incredibly sophisticated autocomplete function for reality. Every sight, sound, and sensation is compared against the brain's prediction. What you perceive as reality is largely this internal model, only updated when there is a prediction error, when reality doesn't match the guess. Your thoughts don't arise fresh. They are the output of this predictive engine recycling old patterns. The groundbreaking experiments by Benjamin Libet in the 1980s provided the first empirical evidence. He showed that brain activity corresponding to a decision to act, a simple flick of the wrist, occurs up to half a second before the subject is consciously aware of having made the decision. Your brain decides first, then generates the story of you deciding. Free will? It's a post hoc fabrication, a press release written by a mind that's not even in charge. Zen nailed this centuries ago. Thoughts are described as dharmas, temporary, conditioned phenomena that bubble up from the depths of your karma, which simply means your past actions and conditioning. They are not yours. They are impersonal programs inherited from evolution, your parents, your culture, and every ad you've ever seen. That flash of anger? That is a Stone Age survival algorithm. That sudden craving for sugar? That is marketing code embedded deep in your neural net. You are not thinking. You are executing subroutines. The Matrix has you running on autopilot, and you have the audacity to call it me. So if it's all just impersonal code, why does it feel so intensely personal? Why do you buy the lie? The mechanism is called identification. It is the unconscious act of latching onto these algorithmic outputs, a thought, an emotion, a sensation, and screaming, "That's me! That's mine!" Zen calls this process upadana, or clinging. Clinging to a phantom ego is the direct recipe for dukkha, the pervasive sense of unsatisfactoriness or suffering that defines the unexamined life. Yourself is a narrative glitch, a story cobbled together by gluing random passing thoughts into a seemingly coherent but ultimately fake identity. Neuroscience again provides the physical correlate, a specific brain network called the default mode network, or DMN. When your brain is at rest and not focused on a specific task, the DMN fires up. And what does it do? It tells stories. It ruminates about the past, worries about the future, and constructs narratives about you, your personality, your problems, your place in the world. This is why anxiety and depressive loops feel so personal and inescapable. It is the DMN's code reinforcing itself, running the same tragic story over and over. Ever found yourself obsessing for hours over a past mistake or an embarrassing moment? That is not you engaging in wise self-reflection. That is a buggy program trapping you in a painful, repetitive simulation. We identify with these stories because evolution wired us for it. A strong sense of self was useful for social cohesion and survival. But in the modern world, this feature has backfired spectacularly. You are not the hero of your own mind movie. You are an extra, hypnotized by a script you can't even see. The way to break the trap is to see the code for what it is: impersonal, mechanical, and not about you at all. For the skeptics still clinging to the ghost in the machine, let's look at the hard proof. Neuroscience doesn't sugarcoat this. Your thoughts are the output of deterministic code. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, allows us to watch this code execute in real time. We can see which areas of the brain demand more oxygenated blood, a proxy for neural activity, when performing any given task. The results are unequivocal. When you make a decision, the brain's circuitry lights up like a circuit board long before your conscious mind gets the memo.
As we touched on, Benjamin Libet's work was the political assassination of the myth of free will in the 20th century. But modern techniques have confirmed it beyond any reasonable doubt. Studies by researchers like John Dylan Haynes have used fMRI to predict subjects' choices with high accuracy up to 7 seconds before they are consciously made. 7 seconds! Your brain is playing chess while you are still trying to figure out how the pieces move. The theory of predictive coding, which we mentioned, frames the brain as a relentless algorithm machine. It operates on Bayesian probabilities, constantly updating its internal model of the world to minimize surprise. There is no magic spark of originality. There is no spontaneous creation. There is only data crunching on a monumental scale. Even your most cherished moments of creativity are just the algorithm remixing old stored patterns in a novel way. Zen predicted the very essence of this model thousands of years ago, without the need for multi-million-dollar scanners. The principle of dependent origination states that all phenomena arise in dependence on other phenomena. Nothing exists in isolation. A thought arises because of prior causes and conditions, your genetic predispositions, your memories, the state of your blood sugar, the sensory input from 5 seconds ago. It does not arise from a sovereign you. The ultimate matrix reveal is this: you are a biological robot running complex programs you did not write and do not control. Acceptance of this fact is not nihilism. It is the beginning of liberation, the moment you stop pretending to be the programmer and start learning to read the code.
Zen doesn't just diagnose the problem, it provides the cure. It hands you the tools to debug the system. The Buddha's core instruction was elegantly simple. Observe thoughts without ownership. See them for what they are, impersonal, transient events. They are like clouds passing in the vast sky of your awareness. The sky does not cling to the clouds or identify with them. It simply allows them to come and go. Meditation, particularly practices like Zen or Vipassana, is the practical application of this. It is debugging the code in real time. You sit, you watch the algorithms fire. Hungry, anxious, need to check phone, angry at that person. You don't engage. You don't suppress. You simply note, a thought has arisen. Not my thought, just a thought, a program executing. With practice, you begin to see the space between the thoughts, the silence of the underlying awareness. And neuroscience confirms in stunning detail the power of this process. Mindfulness practice has been shown to physically shrink the amygdala, the brain's fear center. It reduces the hyperactivity of the default mode network, literally weakening the neural basis of the egoic story spinner. Studies on long-term meditators show they have measurably rewired their brains, creating thicker prefrontal cortices, the area associated with emotional regulation and executive function, and reducing their reactivity to these automatic subroutines. Zen koans, the paradoxical riddles given to students, are like logic bombs designed to crash the ego program. A question like, what was your original face before your parents were born, cannot be answered by the thinking mind. It short-circuits the algorithm, forcing a system reboot that can reveal the silent, aware space beyond thought. You are not the thoughts. You are the awareness watching the code run. This is Zen's red pill. Detach from the thoughts, and the matrix loses its grip. You are no longer a slave to the suffering caused by buggy ego programs.
You've seen the code. You've been shown the walls of your prison. Now, it's time to unplug. Awakening isn't some mystical, unobtainable state reserved for robed monks on mountaintops. It is a practical, achievable shift in perspective. From the Zen tradition, the practice is one of moment-to-moment non-attachment. When a thought arises, label it for what it is. Algorithm firing, predictive model running, survival subroutine active. Question the I in every impulse. When you feel I am angry, ask, what is this I that claims this anger? Satori, that legendary flash of no self-realization, is simply the system crash that finally frees you from the illusion. From neuroscience, we can use the brain's own rules to our advantage. The principle of neuroplasticity means your brain is not fixed. It constantly rewires itself based on experience. You can consciously carve new neural pathways. You are not doomed to the default program. Introduce novelty, break your routines, take a different route to work, learn a new skill, practice mindfulness meditation daily, even for just 10 minutes. Expose yourself to hermetic stressors like cold exposure, which can jolt the system out of its complacent loops. You can actively rewrite the code through new habits and focused attention. But here is the final truth bomb. Partial freedom isn't freedom. True liberation means dropping the identification with the illusion entirely. It means no longer believing you are the avatar, the character in the game. You are the silent, spacious awareness in which the entire game is being played. The witness, not the glitchy character. Your exit from the matrix starts right now. Question the very next thought that pops into your head. Is it true? Is it yours? Or is it just the machine running its code? Share this transmission if it shattered your simulation. Spread the red pill, because remember, you are not thinking. It is just algorithms. But that awareness that just heard this, that is the real you. Infinite, silent, and finally unbound.